Welcome, y'all, to Shade and the City. I know I'm here a little late, but y'all know life be lifing out here, okay? I still got to go to work and do all the things and make dinners and, practices and clubs. But yeah, I appreciate y'all being here. It's your girl, Treese from Shade and the City. So if you guys have not already, please make sure that you've hit that like button and make sure that you guys are subscribed as well. And I just really, really want to say I really appreciate the outpouring of following and subs that we've been getting from me doing this, and just you guys tuning into our other stuff as well. I've seen a couple of y'all cross comments, so I know that you're watching different things, and I really appreciate it. But especially for me, getting up here by myself, sometimes I really appreciate you guys making sure that this is a conversation and dialogue about the show when y'all really are listening to me and dropping in the comments and giving me your thoughts and feelings. So from me to you, I really, really appreciate and love y'all for that. And speaking of that, not to get long-winded, but I did one of our subscribers, or viewers, Satnam, I believe. Please forgive me if I butchered your screen name. Actually had a really good suggestion that I like, and I would love to know what your opinion would be, since I know for sure that one of the nights that me and Nels don't really record together is Thursday. I'm possibly thinking he suggested that maybe I do like a live panel with you guys. And maybe for all of you good old soap heads like myself who have been watching it for years, and I'm sure some of y'all probably know more than I do. And I'd love to get up here and talk about Beyond the Gates, do some comparisons, and just kind of come up here every week and maybe do a live panel and let y'all come up and be my co-host. Okay, so I'm not up here by myself. All right. And then we could also, do our predictions for what we think is going to happen on Friday's episode. So if that's something that you're feeling, please let me know. Obviously, the more that you let me know that that's something you're interested in, the more that I will make sure that I make time to make that happen. Okay. But y'all, let's get into today's episode. This is Beyond the Gates, season 1, episode 12, and let's get shady. Y'all, so we start out this episode, we see Nicole running around. She's trying to prepare for this big interview that she's going to. Eva notices that she seems to be a little on edge, so she's kind of talking to her, and she admits that she's not good at handling a spotlight the same way her parents and maybe her siblings are. So she tries to make her realize how important this service award is, because her dad all got one as well. Well, Eva is trying to make her realize that. And Nicole is finding relief in knowing that, even though I'm not big on the spotlight, luckily they're going to be more interested in my daddy. But Eva also reminds her, but they also going to be interested in Danny, girl. Don't think you're going to get off that. All right. So over at the Dupree home, Anita makes it clear that she communicated with Danny and that this is not to be about her. Okay. Vernon urges Danny to let him and Anita do all the talking if asked about her. Danny says she don't even plan to be there. Okay. So then Nicole walks in surprised to see Danny. And Danny's like, look, I'm not here to steal your shine. I'm gonna go hide in the cut. And so Danny tells her that, she knows she might not know what to expect from her, and talks about the embarrassment her mother must have felt to have her arrested for attempted unaliving in her own home. Nicole tells her she hates that she wasn't there to support her, and explains that, she was caught up on the roof talking to some crazy lady. I wonder who that is. Okay. So then Bill and Haley, they look, my notes say they still ain't left for no honeymoon yet. Okay. But they trying, but Haley's pissed. And let me say this again, folks. I don't like Haley. All right. But I'm liking her growth. There it is. There it is. There it is. I don't like her, but I'm liking her growth. That's what it is. Okay. So he's holding another press conference and says that he wants to address the Duprees since they're doing this interview of Nicole. And he thinks that basically they're going to use this opportunity to bash him. And so Haley doesn't agree with this, and she wants him to leave it alone, so they can just go on a damn honeymoon. All right. And so he tells her, it's business, and assures her that basically they'll leave soon. All right. Now Naomi is preparing to leave for work when Jacob comes in trying to light the mood because she made it sleep on the couch last time we saw them. So she basically isn't entertaining his jokes and scolds him for betraying her trust. Jacob feels like, look, I just did my job. And shout out to Tina Williams, who also jumped in the comments and made it very clear that he could have absolutely told her. Remember yesterday's episode, I asked y'all, what did y'all really expect Jacob to do? And thank you, Tina, for weighing in. I appreciate you, girl. Okay. So yeah, so she said, he could have told her and gave her 24 hours. And he absolutely could have. So but I just appreciate you following your instructions. You see me, I see you, we see each other. All right. So anyway, yeah, so basically she feels like he went along with her father's sneak attack against her mother, and she tells him she doesn't recognize the man that she's married. Jacob tells her look, he points out that you're missing the fact that, your mother had a lot to do in the situation, and you're neglecting her responsibility in it. And Naomi reminds him that, his mother is not like a hardened criminal. And, Jacob is like, look, I did my job as the arresting officer as you would as an attorney. And so, she's like, well, would you have arrested me? And so, since your badge means more to you, and he doesn't even entertain that, which I can applaud him for. And she tells him that she's gonna go off and be with her family because she knows where her loyalty lies. And I said, you better, Naomi. But to Tina's point, he could have told her. He could have told her. And then when we see later on in this episode where he does a flashback, I can completely understand why Naomi's nervous. And I think I said last week or the first week that they kept hinting, or she kept being worried about, oh, I just hope me and Jacob are okay. I hope we're going to be okay. And again, we can blame that on the trauma from seeing her parents' marriage just completely unfold in front of her. Or we could also think that, she's fearful because obviously he might have said some things to her that gave her like, oh, okay. So anyway, maybe I'm wrong. So Eva is in Nicole's office, and she's staring at a picture, the family photo, and imagining herself in it. Ted walks in and notices and basically is kind of questioning her about it. So she tells him that she always wanted a brother or sister, and she goes into how she doesn't know if she's an only child because she doesn't know her biological father. So Ted apologizes for bringing up old wounds, and Eva lets him know that she's an open book and he can ask her anything. And this is what I'm talking about. This is when we see her. She just wants to have a relationship with this man and get to know him. So Ted asked her why her surrogate mother never, looked for her bio father. And she said that, Leslie did a good job of taking care of her, but Alan, her husband, wasn't very fatherly. She said she's wondered about her father, but didn't want to push it since she already felt rejected. Makes sense. So Ted tells her, that it's his loss, and he starts talking about Andre and how he lost his parents and how he and Nicole tried to jump in and fill that void for him. And so he said that situation made him think of who his kids would lean on if something were to ever happen to them. And as we can see, he talks about the closeness Martin has with his grandfather, while he's like, Kat is a complete daddy's girl and definitely needs him. And so he tells her if she ever needs, an ear to listen, or, to laugh, she can give him a call. And, she tells him she'll keep that in mind. And so as he's prepared to leave to grab his cup of coffee, now let me know. There's a reason why I broke this down like this, okay? So I probably should have told y'all that earlier when Eva walked into Nicole's office, she had brought her coffee order. Well, obviously Nicole left with hers because she left out to go to the Dupree house. Ted picked up the other cup. Before he leaves, he goes to pick it up, and she's like, no, don't worry about it. I got it. I think that girl gonna go run a DNA test. I think she doesn't necessarily believe Leslie. I don't know. Am I reaching, y'all? Am I reaching? I watch a lot of ID channel. So I just know if they got the DNA on the straw, if you get the mouth on the maybe I'm tripping. Was it just me? Help me out, y'all. I know I'm not alone in this on this island. Help me out. All right. All right, let's move on. So Bill's staff Caroline and Tomas, because it took me a while to get their names. They're discussing how the press conference should bring a lot of attention. Caroline thinks that, it actually might backfire. And Tomas says that it might already have with Haley. And he feels like if the marriage to Haley blows up, then it could take down their firm. And he's obviously worried about, making sure he grows in his career. So he needs that to not happen. So Leslie shows up at the local diner to meet with Mona, and y'all, I still don't know Ashley mom's name. Can y'all help me out in the comments? What is Ashley mama's name? So they notice she has a little more pep in her step as she walks in. Okay, she's got a little stride in her, in her glide. All right, and she want to know. They want to know what's this all about. So Leslie says she's slowly recovering from Alan's passing, and is feeling optimistic about life. She feels the future suddenly feels full of possibilities. How did I do? How did I do? How did I do? Anyway, um, then Chelsea, we see Chelsea. She arrives at her grandparents' home and she learns that her grandparents are um, excluding Danny from the interview. So she scurries away. So Danny then scurries away because the reporter walks in. Bill is holding his press conference, speaking about how he tries to resolve matters privately with Danny. He reminds her, no, he reminds them that his wedding was turned into a horror show and then proceeded with malicious slander. He says he's patient, but his name and reputation he will let go unaddressed. Okay. He claims he didn't invite Danny to his wedding to rub it in, and he thought it would be good to show their children that they can move on peacefully or whatever. And he says he invited her loved one so they could basically keep her in check. He then questions Nicole's, which we all know is a lie. Okay, I don't even know why I said that because we don't even need to debate that. If you watch it, if you know, right? But it's a lie. Okay, so no, then I don't know if it was just me. I felt like he questioned Nicole's credentials and says that Danny needs to be reevaluated since they're all in denial about how her mental state has deteriorated. And I was like, not him trying to Wendy Williams her and like have her locked up in a guardianship or something. What is going on? So Mona, we cut back to Mona and Leslie and Ashley's mama. And she's talking about looking forward to the being off for the day and just being away from the Dupree chaos. At that moment, Leslie notices Nicole on the TV doing her interview. So we see Vernon speaking on how proud of her he is, and she's talking about how she's sharing this award with her parents and their friends that are still active in the civil rights movement, and how she couldn't have accomplished what she has without their sacrifices. I said, yes, girl. Okay. Then the reporter brings up the elephant in the room, which we know is Danny. She brings up Danny's actions and her arrest. Anita shuts down the question and says they don't condone her behavior, but knows what led her to it. That would be Bill and his this is what my notes say. And that would be Bill and his 4-H member of a mistress/wife. Now, for all of those who may be late in coming into my recaps or reviews, and you are not familiar with what I mean when I say Haley is a part of the 4-H club, let me just refresh your memory. She is a hussy, she is a heifer, she is a hoe, and she is a harlot. It's 4-H's for you. Okay. Thank you. All right. So the reporter tells them that Bill is currently giving a press conference claiming Danny is suffering from mental deterioration. So Danny comes out of the cut and says, she wants to respond to this. And then, everybody at the diner is like rooting her on, and everyone at Bill's office is watching Danny's interview. And I said, well, damn. So Bill accuses the Duprees of being arrogant. Now I will say I don't know how anybody else felt about this scene. If it was confusing to them, was a little bit confusing, but I like how they did it. If that makes sense. I like how when Bill said something, she would say something. So it was almost like they literally were responding to each other at the same. Like they might as well have been in the same room, basically. Danny, at the same time, she takes full responsibility for her behavior again. She says that, they shattered her world and she wanted to ruin their day. While Bill says that her petty and desperate jealousy turned her into a monster. Danny says that she's a threat to no one, especially not Bill and Haley, after showing her grace by dropping the charges. She basically would never retaliate. Um, and that's pretty much what I got from that. Because, like I said, it did get kind of confusing and going back and forth. So if I missed anything, drop it in the comments. Let me know. So then we see Jacob's new partner. Remember, he was excited about this guy. His name is Marcel Malone. He comes in and introduces himself. Are we after 15 minutes? Marcel seems to be a little bit of an asshole. So basically, he orders him immediately off the gate to go get him coffee. And Jacob's like, I'm not your do boy. That's not, I'm a whole detective. That's not what I'm here for. You're my partner. And he's like, look, all right, I see you on that. But at the end of the day, next time address me as detective. And if I give you orders, next time you disobey him, it's gonna be a problem. And basically he tells him, stay out my business, or you're gonna wish you never met me. And I think it's crazy because Jacob was so die hard about feeling bad about Bill and not arresting Danny. And I don't know if anybody else can see it. Maybe I might be reaching. I feel like his partner is going to be a dirty cop or a dirty detective. And he's just going to be sitting there, not only covering up and ignoring it, but also probably somehow getting caught up in it. Am I reaching? Y'all let me know. Drop in the comments, okay? So yeah. So then Naomi congratulates her mother on how she handled the interview. Danny is apologizing to her girls again and basically says that, she meant what she said and she really is ready to move on. She tells Naomi she needs to go make up with her husband and stop pushing him away, which we know Naomi's still battling with. Vernon and Anita return and Danny apologizes for, intervening, even though she said she wouldn't. But her parents let her know that, they're actually proud of her for doing so. Then we see Eva all snooping again, all up in Nicole's desk, and she finds the necklace that she was looking for earlier. Um, so it seems like, in my eyes, it seemed like she wanted to take it. That's what my notes say. But then Nicole ends up walking in. So Nicole begins to tell her how much it means to her because Ted gave it to her as an anniversary gift, and she wonders what her life would have been like without him. And then she talks to Eva about the interview and, if she saw it, and Eva's like, no, but I saw Danny, and was like, she looked like she was going through it. And I was like, I don't think Danny gave going through it, but okay. So Nicole hates that, Danny did have to go through it, but she also is happy that her daughters could see her be accountable for her actions, and tells her, not every parent has the strength to do that. And I think at this moment, Eva is starting to feel that way about Leslie. So, because I've heard some people say that they don't even think Leslie is really her mama. Do y'all think that could be a possibility, that she's not even related to her at all? That's just like some baby she stole from some hospital or something. I don't know, y'all. It's the stories. Who knows? So, Kat runs into Chelsea, who's excited as she's preparing to meet with some venture capital firm. Chelsea tells her that she made it clear to her that she wants them to do this project on their own. But Kat is like, look, I just want to take the meeting and hear the pitch. There's nothing wrong with that. So she's like, since everything, how do you feel about everything that's happened with your mama? And Chelsea tells her, I feel like she's probably the most stable I've seen her in a while. Okay. So Kat I don't even know, because I'm still stuck on the fact that she said that she would actually take this man back. I can't let that go, y'all. I can't move forward from that. I'm still stuck on that. But anyway, I'm hoping that we don't revisit that, but they don't drop that nugget for nothing. So Kat wants to table the venture capital conversation and tells her, she wants to go out and celebrate. Chelsea tells her she can't because she has plans. And so Kat reminds her that she's missing her mother's award ceremony for this meeting and thinks that, basically Chelsea can back out of her little situationship dates or whatever she got going on. And Chelsea tells her that it's more than that. And so she said, the people that she's seeing right now are pretty low key. And so she's like, again, you're doing it again, Kat? And I was like, oh, so again, like I said before, when we just cat is with the shits. Whatever that is, she's with the shits. Okay. So clearly we know this is not Chelsea's first rodeo. I'm sorry, I said cat. Chelsea, my apologies. So Chelsea tells her she's messing with this couple and says that she just likes what she likes. And Kat says, she's more of a Michelle who's looking for a Barack. So then we see Malone messing with Jacob, basically like, oh, you sitting here moping. Um, and I know you ain't getting paid for overtime, so clearly you just don't want to come home because go home because things ain't good at home, and basically poking at him. And Jacob was like, "Well, I thought we weren't gonna get in each other's business," and he was like, "Well, look, I really don't give a damn about your business, but what I do care about is that when I'm out here in these streets with you and my life is on the line, I ain't got time for you to be all up in your feelings. Okay, so go figure that out." That's basically what that was. So Nicole is asking Ted if he's seen the interview as he walks in her office with dinner. Ted is just so sweet and considerate. I'm sorry. Nobody can get me to be mad at Ted right now. I can't. So Ted said he did watch, and Danny had everyone eating out of the palm of her hand. He tells her Bill is going to hate seeing, basically his daughter's side with Danny. Nicole tells him Bill can go to hell and that she's done with his ego and his narcissism. And I said, yes, Nicole. They stop trying to tell Danny how crazy. Well, I ain't gonna say how crazy she is. She did have her back, but you know, sometimes reason. I don't need you to be reasonable. I need you to be my sister. You know what I'm saying? So they talk about how wrong it was to pit Jacob against his own wife and his daughter. So, or how wrong it was for Bill to do that. So he offers to go talk to Naomi and Jacob, and he flashes back to his conversation with Leslie. Now, Eva meets up with Leslie at the diner. She tells her that she told Ted about her father and how she never knew him. And Leslie tells her to be careful and tells her basically, you're playing a dangerous game. And I was like, but we'll get there. It'll be addressed before the end. It'll be addressed. I'm going to just save it. All right. So Bill is giving Tomas instructions as he is still trying to head out on his honeymoon with Haley. Tomas lets him know that he met his niece Kat at his wedding, and he wants to shoot a shot. And so Bill tells him he don't give a damn what he do, but if you want to go ahead and play with fire, go ahead and get burned. So then we see Jacob. He's having a flashback of a conversation um, Naomi. I'm sorry. He was having a conversation with Naomi. Um, and she was asking him when he found out about her dad, Bill, and Haley. He's basically telling her like it doesn't matter. And Naomi goes on a rant about her mother and her sister believe that even though, Bill manipulated people in court, and his clients, that he would never do the same to them. And so she asked him again when he knew, and he says he never trusted Bill from the start. And then he goes to explain that in being a cop, part of his training is to spot people's weaknesses to get the truth. And he says that he actually sees himself in Bill. And he said that, but the difference is he has no plan. He said the difference is the reason why they do it. So Naomi asked him, so what's keeping you from crossing the line like my dad did? And of course he's like, I will never lie again. He's like, I'll never do that to you. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, Jacob tells her he's not Bill. Naomi comes home later on, and Jacob is packing. He no longer wants to sleep on the couch. She tells him she doesn't want him to leave, and she ends up, kind of breaking down. Jacob tells her that he's not her father and that he would never do what her father did, and then, they end up making up. But I thought it was funny that they showed that flashback before that, and he's still trying to convince her that he's not her father. So then Haley is talking to Caroline about how excited she is about finally getting on a honeymoon that she still ain't left yet. And she says that, she's never been overseas and that she's excited to have Bill to herself. We see Ted and Nicole having and he's letting her know that he had a good conversation earlier with Eva. They cut to Leslie continuing to scold Eva for speaking to Ted, and warns her that she might, basically blow their cover. She tells her it's too risky, and Eva checks her. And this to me was the part. Okay, she checks her and reminds her she climbed to the top of a roof and pretended to want to unalive herself. And so Leslie said it was different because I had a plan. It was different because I had a plan. Okay. And so Eva says she just wants to get to know her father, and she feels like people can learn and grow from their mistakes. And Leslie tells her to learn from her and to not trust Ted Richardson. And that was pretty much the episode, y'all. Episode 12. And, you know, it was another good day, another good 2 p.m. Brightens my day. But y'all drop down in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this episode. If you have not already, please make sure that you've hit that like button. Please make sure that you comment. Please make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. And make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's TikTok, IG, Facebook, and Blue Sky. And yeah, I will catch you tomorrow. Yeah, for another Beyond the Gates. Have a good night. Bye bye.